9th fret of the A string. Alright, just some quick tips here. The first part is played down, hammer, down, 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 up for each. And the actual arpeggios I'm playing here is an F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio, A minor 7 arpeggio, and C major 7 arpeggio. And this is all played over the A, of course. And the effect you get then is, for the first one here, you get a really clear Dorian sound because you basically have all the notes of an A minor triad, which is a 1 minor chord, and then you have the added natural 6th degree, and the natural 6th degree is the quintessential Dorian sound. So just hitting that F sharp minor 7 flat 5 chord gets you that Dorian sound like that. Right, and then we go straight into the A minor 7 chord, and of course that gives you that A minor 7 sound. And then when we get to the C major 7 arpeggio, if you look at the notes from that chord and from the perspective of the A root, you actually get a minor 3rd, 5th, flat 7, and the 9th. So in effect, you get an A minor 9th sound when you use this arpeggio. And the only note missing actually is the root, but that's already provided by the drone. And if you use it in your own music, you're already going to have an A or the root, whatever key you happen to be in. The root's going to be in there somewhere. So you don't really need that for the listener to know what you're playing. As far as picking these, it's down, hammer, down, 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 up, and the same for all three. And this is quite tricky because you get since you're picking this note and you're picking this note, you really need to get good at this. Oops. So that's actually a good thing to practice, even though it sounds ridiculous like this. So. But and also, of course, just doing that, taking each pair and looping it is a really good exercise. But it's tricky because of that big skip in the right hand, and also because you need to do the quite big position shift in the left hand. But it's not impossible by any means, and it's a really cool sound, so I think it's worth working on. And your regular, ascending and descending arpeggios will feel much easier if you get this sound. But again, if you want, you can experiment with just hammering this note. I don't really like the sound of that myself, and since I don't have a big problem with shifting like this, so I keep my the picking that I showed you. But for sure, if it's really hard and you want to, or maybe just want a different sound, yes, you can experiment with a hammer here instead. Will make it easier on the right hand for sure. Alright, and from here we go into this tremolo pick thing. So basically when we come from the C major arpeggio, C major 7, pick the same way, down, hammer, down, 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 up, down. And this is just an A minor pentatonic going every other note. And just picking them 3 times, so. And it's easier if you think of this as groups of 6 instead of three notes at a time. So it's easier to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because then you can look for the downstroke for every other shift. So down, 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 down. And I use the second finger here, and the reason for that is that I can mute with my index finger. So I'm just barring it here, but barring it really lightly, so I don't accidentally, if you push it down too hard, you're actually going to get a bar chord, and then you don't want that. Just to mute the strings, and that will make it easier for you to move around the fretboard without getting a lot of extra noise. So, whoops. And once you get to this point, I actually shift to my pinky and then go down. just hammer-ons from nowhere in all the string shifts, so no picking here. But again, if that's really hard, you can pick very lightly, but you can actually, I think you get a better sound when you don't pick. In this case, because I want a really smooth sound. And a good way to work on that is to just play it chromatically up and down with this actual fingering, but also exploring the other 6 fingerings for the 3-note per string scales, because we got 7 in total, right? So we got this one, next position, and so on. And you know, you can just Google A Dorian 3-note per string positions and you'll get it, and just play the same pattern, just descending from the top note down to the last, down to the lowest note, if you don't already know them. So that's a really good exercise. It's also a good idea to work on the transitions from each section. So you got this ascending sweep section into the tremolo pick section. So you want to try to get that as seamless as possible. And then same thing here, of course. And the way to do it is just to start at the end of the sweep thing, and then play the first few notes of the next section. And then you do the same thing here, so you don't need to play the entire tremolo pick thing. You can just start from maybe, or even just so I'm using the same fingering that I'm going to use in the actual complete phrase. So second finger, pinky, and so on. You know, it's not rocket science. It's pretty easy to figure out, hopefully. Otherwise, just ask below and I'll try to explain a little bit better. This phrase actually came out of I just sat around improvising before a lesson, and I just liked the way this sounded when I connected all these ideas. So I decided to you know, tab this out for you and have it as a part of a lick. But it's really probably best played as like a short exercise to, you know, work on these arpeggios, and then getting into the tremolo and into the legato, and getting used to switching between techniques. I think using this as a lick in its completion would sound kind of weird. And also I played in a kind of a floaty manner here, so but you know, experiment with it and see if you can make it work. But it would probably work best as like a solo thing, you know, this typical 80s guitar solo spots thing. That I think it would work best in a context like that. But of course, you can just take parts of it and then apply that to whatever you're playing over. So again, I'm just encouraging you to experiment with all this stuff. If you have any questions at all, just post them below. And yeah, thanks again for your support, and see you in the next one.